Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
See, I don't know about y'all, but like for real, I don't mind being talked about. My problem come in when they start making stuff up. So you can talk about me all you want. It is what it is. You know, it's either I did it or I didn't. I said it or I didn't. Whatever the case is, I don't care. I let whoever think whatever, feel whatever. That's on them. You know what I'm saying? But it's the making up part. It's the lying part. It's the adding on to part that always get me. I don't mind being talked about. It's when y'all start lying that bothers me.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
I almost forgot to put myself on the screen. Hold on a second. There we go. We got a lot to talk about. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Wednesday to each and every one of you guys that are joining in to the Bullhorn Betty channel this morning. As you guys can see, I'm up and at it again this morning. What a drive yesterday. What a drive. But we made it. And we had an opportunity to meet Okie Crime News. and her and I went to a cute little Italian restaurant in the heart of Washington, D.C. last night. It was really nice. Just enjoyed conversating, enjoyed meeting her face to face, first and foremost. She is the gal that was running live with us for the Athena Brownfield case. She's been monitoring that case and as well as other cases. And so just a big shout out to Okie Crime News. Again, thanks. It was a wonderful, wonderful time out with you last night. I enjoyed it immensely. I was exhausted, but she put a pep in my step. I can honestly tell you, after the Italian food, I was done. I came back here. I was done. Just stick a fork in me, done. And, but just an amazing time. Bella Ann, the first, and proud of it. First to say good morning to Bullhorn Betty and the Coffee Club. Good morning, Bella Ann. Finally, number one. So followed by Jennifer L. Jennifer, you're just a day late and $1 short this morning. I'm just joking. It's the foot. I know it's the foot. You're hobbling around. I know that's what it is. LD, good morning. Brandy, it's nice to see you. Guidance is already up and at it this beautiful morning of Wednesday. It's a little chilly here in DC this morning. I'm drinking old coffee. That's what you get here at cheap hotels, right? But this is a budget trip, even with everything pretty much being paid for except my gas and room. It still cost me quite a bit to be here. But again, we are here for a cause. Many of you guys know I will be meeting with people over the next few days. There's our flyer. I was able to get 4 of these on a sheet of paper. So I went ahead and cut those out. But there it is in living color, our request for reform. And it provides our phone number on here as well as our email address. So people can get a hold of us as needed. But there you go, guys. We do have these. We've got over 100 here. So we're ready to get to work on our advocacy for our children. We have one person on YouTube that just doesn't like sitting on her ass, of course, just like everybody else, right? That wants to complain and not do anything. Doesn't like, thinks I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, well. Keep having your opinion. Nobody gives a damn. Clearly, nobody gives a damn. But we are here for the children. I'm here to make connections with people that can help. And that's what I'm going to do. Sean, it's nice to see you here. Patricia, Cranky Pants. Tammy, Pink Peony. Nice to see you. If I'm saying that right. My pronunciation sucks. I have to be honest with you. Nana of 7. Good morning. Clarinda, it's nice to see you here. Wake up. Mishka, Mom. Is that like Mishka, Michigan? I don't know. Anyways, good morning. It's nice to see you. Ricky Beaver's in the house. Nice to see you, my love. Nice to see you. Angie B. Just Samantha. Robert's girl, Sonia. Nice to see you as well. Damien, Allie, MJ, ZA. I'm sure there's a few more. I'm picking through here. Kim, it's nice to see you here this morning. Pebbles, SB. Miss Lee, Mom of 3 is back in the house. She's off groundation. She can hang out with Bullhorn Betty again. Pure Country, it's nice to see you, Ryan E. Oh, Lord. Having too much fun. Entirely too much fun. It's not normal to have this much fun this early in the morning. Just some guy. It's nice to have you here. Amanda, nice to have you as well. Let's see if I see any other new faces up in the house today. Sue, good morning. Number 32. Yeah, don't forget to hit the like button on your way in. That's what helps get our videos out there. Community on YouTube. We're working on other things. We're also working on our bullhornbetty.com website as well as Patreon. We're going to be kickstarting our Patreon here soon, and we're going to be doing a lot more on there. The stuff that we're unable to do on YouTube, we're going to be doing on our Patreon account. Oops. Whoa. Maybe that thing doesn't. This thing goes up and down. So apparently it didn't like being up, and I'm tapping a little too hard this morning. Hopefully my neighbors don't Take note. So it's nice to have you guys here. Vape King in the house. Okie Crime News. She's up this morning. Well, you enjoy your trip. Safe travels. Thanks for coming out. It was fun. I enjoyed myself. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So just it's just nice. It's nice to finally meet, some people that you work with and talk to and chat with and collaborate with online and over the phone. And it's just nice. It's just nice. $4.99. I blame sleeping pills. But good morning, Sugar Plum. Good morning to you too. I didn't need sleeping pills last night. Exhaustion did me in just fine. Just fine. I can't believe it. I don't know how, I have to be honest with you. You guys really made the trip much more palatable. I mean, you can imagine driving 14 hours is quite the trip, to say the least, right? Excuse me. Allergies still kicking. I brought allergy pills though. I just haven't took them. Yay! No allergies today. At least later today, anyways. Not this morning. But it was 14 hours on the road, and when I drive straight. I give myself literally. I regulate my pee breaks to my gas intake. Right. So when I pump gas, that's when I take my break. If I can't find what I eat, need a drink, or find a restroom, I'm stuck until the next stop. That is, and I drive alone. So those are my rules that I follow for myself when I'm on the trip. But I get here, because a 14-hour trip can certainly roll into a 15 or 16-hour trip, depending on your stops and everything like that. That's why I don't go to Buc-ee's. When I'm on the road, do I want cheaper gas? Of course I do. But the idea of going to Buc-ee's, I would literally spend 2 hours in a Buc-ee's. Like, forget it. Just, I can't. And when I try to rush through Buc-ee's, I get frustrated because there are so many people there. And, but I love the store. I have to be honest with you. I'm very excited that Florida's getting Buc-ee's and Ocala. I'm super stoked about that. I'm probably going to take a trip just to see the store. It is the best. But that's exactly why when I'm on the road and I'm doing my traveling, I can't stop at one. It would throw my entire trip off. And then, you know what? I would be mad at myself. I would be kicking myself in the butt the entire trip. And it's like, I could have gotten there at 5 and now I'm getting there at 7. Oh my God. Right. So Cell Energy. Hey, lovely. Missed your laugh and contagious. Thank you. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. And, so that's why I can't stop at Buc-ee's. So it's a Pilot store. It's a Flying J's. It's, a Shell station. Sometimes I go to weird names just because the gas is cheap. Does my vehicle thank me for it? Probably not. Probably not. But my poor girl's still kicking. It takes a licking and keeps on ticking. God bless that car. I tell you what. I was very fortunate to get that SUV when I got it, because prices on vehicles, I'm looking at them because I know, here in the next few years, probably in the next 2 years, I'm going to have to consider getting another vehicle, and I'm about to die. Like, I'm going to wait until this inflation nonsense is over. I don't know how people are affording to live. I really don't. If I didn't have everything paid off, I would be sunk. It's just like that. So good morning, everybody. Lots of stuff is coming out, and it looks like Pennsylvania is not following the court order in Idaho, which they shouldn't. I believe the court order in Idaho is not going to pass legal muster anyways, and I think it's going to end up having to be redone. Today's March 1st. I'm wondering if we're going to start getting other stuff. I mean, they told us that they were going to unseal the file around March 1st. So good old PA. Yeah. Well, they follow the law. I mean, they don't make up the law as they go. Sorry. Judges are not legislatures. They have to follow the law just like everybody else. And it frustrates me when they try to do this legal maneuvering that has to be legally challenged, that costs everybody a bunch of money for what? For you to violate the law and us to have to go to a higher court to tell you you're violating the law. You knew you were violating the law out the gate. You chose to keep going down this rabbit hole. So I'm really getting kind of disgusted with this. I didn't have an opportunity to get my cease and desist letter out to Savannah, Georgia. So I'm going to be working on that sometime today. It probably won't go out until I get home, but I'm definitely going to be sending that out because I do plan on taking getting a lawyer in Georgia and going after that in a legal manner, since it's got to be legally challenged. So I plan on doing that in due course if they don't change their course. So I'm going to give them an opportunity to stop with their nonsense. If they don't, then they're going to be met with a lawsuit. And that's just how I'm going to deal with it. And people know that once I've had enough, I've had enough. So that's kind of where we're at this morning. But lots of stuff coming out. I just dropped the video, and I haven't turned it on just yet. I'm going to turn it on here in just the near future. But before I do, I'm going to, let me go ahead and get it up here. I'm gonna play it here for you guys first, because it's going to be topic of discussion. Now, it's not the meat and potatoes of what we're talking about today, but in all fairness, it is something that just, it irritates me. I don't know. I guess I do have to activate it in order for it. No, I'll just go through. Yeah, it's not showing up on my live. I never activated it. So I will, give me just a second. I got to go through my studio to get it. And we'll play it here before anybody else gets to see it. But it's just, it does, you know, kind of drive me a little cray-cray. There we go. Let me see. It's a dark video because it was over while I was laying in bed. Let me see if I can pull that up or not. It's not going to let me. Let me pull this up first. Here we go. There we go. I look so small next to this. So here we go. It's only, is this it? I thought it was longer than 4 minutes, but I guess not.
Hey guys, good morning. Bullhorn Betty here. It is Wednesday morning.
I uploaded the wrong one.
March 1st.
I uploaded the wrong video. So give me just a second. Let me transfer this video over and then we'll watch it. I got to delete that. I grabbed the wrong video. I really did. I can't believe I did that. Oh, wow. Cancel. Oh, it never downloaded. That's why it never downloaded on my phone. Give me a second, guys. I hate when I do stupid stuff. I'm half asleep. That's why I do stupid shit. Let's be honest. I didn't even save it. I uploaded my talking points. I didn't even, thank God I didn't turn that over to, turn that off of private. But anyways, I did a video this morning off of a Reddit post that I read this morning. And what is it? 9J Wheels. Good morning. Nice to see you here. And it was a little bizarre, the messaging of this particular person. And it's on the Bryan Kohberger Reddit. Apparently there's a big, group of people. I mean, not huge, but there is some that are advocating that Bryan Kohberger is innocent. I'm sorry. After watching Alec Murdaugh's trial and all the evidence that they can garner off the phones, off the towers, off the car itself, I'm like, yeah, no. I believe with new technology, they're really honing in on these criminals much quicker and with much more confidence than ever before. And I think it's a testament to our, now granted, I don't like it because I'm a privacy person. I'm not in with the whole 9/11, Patriot Act thing that just took our entire privacy away for security. And I just believe that we should have, even if we use, Apple products or buy a car that has a computer in it, I believe that should be ours. That's our private information. It's what we paid for. And for law enforcement to break that veil of privacy is concerning for me, knowing that Big Brother is always watching and seeing that play out, even in the Alec Murdaugh case, out in the backcountry woods, they're able to track his every move. That to me is a little terrifying. I have to be honest with you. It doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy. It doesn't make me feel safe. It makes me a little concerned. So I'm not going to get into that aspect of the conversation, but I will tell you, I don't feel confident. Okay. I don't feel confident. It does bother me quite a bit. Hold on, let me see if I'm ready for this yet. It does bother me. I can say hands down quite a bit. Why did it not download? Failed. Okay, save video. Let's try it again. So while we talk here, I can't mess with my phone. But until then, I guess we'll go over to a different area of topic, and then we'll watch the video here in just a few moments. So here is some new information. You know, this is what I was just talking to you guys about. The Pennsylvania unsealed the search warrant in the Idaho killings. So let's see if I can make this a little bigger. Guys, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to see you guys on here because I only have one screen this morning and I want to read it. And it says Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, law enforcement officials seized dark clothing, medical gloves, and a flashlight and other items from Pennsylvania home where they arrested the graduate student charged with stabbing 4 University of Idaho students to death, according to newly unsealed court documents. The records made public Tuesday, 2 months after Pennsylvania State Police arrested Bryan Kohberger at his parents' home in eastern Pennsylvania. Kohberger, a 28-year-old former doctoral student at Wazoo, is charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and burglary in connection with the stabbing deaths in Moscow, Idaho. The bodies of Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonzalez, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin were found on November 13th, 2022 at a rental home across the street from the University of Idaho campus. The slaying shocked the rural Idaho community and neighboring Pullman, Washington, where Kohberger was a graduate student studying criminology at Wazoo. The Pennsylvania State Police swabbed Kohberger's DNA and seized a silver flashlight, 4 medical gloves, white Arizona jean t-shirt, black Champion sweatshirt, a pair of black and white size 13 Nike shoe, black Under Armour socks, black Under Armour shorts, black Under Armour boxers, according to an inventory of the items. The significance of the items, if any, was not immediately clear. A roommate who lived in the home where the attack took place has told authorities she was awakened in the early morning hours of November 13th, opened her bedroom door, and saw a masked figure clad in black clothing walking past her. Kohberger's preliminary hearing is scheduled for late June. He has yet to enter a plea. Additional warrant for Kohberger's arrest in Pennsylvania are due to be made public Wednesday. Investigators seized stained bedding, strands of what looked like hair, and a single glove, but no weapon. They searched Kohberger's Washington State apartment, according to documents released in January. So we are starting to see some docs and stuff being trickled down in our trickled down as these days are coming. We were told that they were going to start opening up this case on March 1st. Today's March 1st. So it looks like they're going to start pumping some stuff out. So I'm going to try to get a hold of the courts sometime today and see what we can, gather, where we can look for the documents, where we can get the documents. We'll find that out, and I will let you guys know as soon as I possibly can. I'm still working on downloading this video, but until then, we also have some other stuff here, and we're going to go over it. This is the reports from these are reports. Sorry, guys, I'm drawing blanks here because I'm tired. These are the reports from Pennsylvania related to all this stuff. I'm kind of looking over them for the first time this morning with you, so we'll just read through them so that you guys are up to snuff on what's been released. Some of this stuff, other content creators. I'm a morning person, so when stuff starts coming out in the afternoon, I typically don't go live with it. I might make a video about it. So you really want to have your bell on all, because, you know, the better, for the most part, this is our coffee club. We've been going throughout the days because of the trial with Alec Murdaugh. But the reason why I'm bringing the trial of Alec Murdaugh to my audience is a couple things. One, I think it's very good that our audience learn about the trial process, what's admissible evidence, what isn't admissible evidence. Plus, we've learned an awful lot about cell towers, the ranges, you know, RTT distance from the cell towers. We're also learning about the boxes and stuff, and the OnStar data that you can get and pull from cars. How the ignition, you know, what is the computer system telling you in the black box, you know, whether the car's engaged, the car's driving, the car's in park. There's a lot of stuff that we don't realize, even with our cell phones. Our cell phones being picked up, the backlight lighting up, it records that. When you're turning your phone from an upright position to a side position, it records that. When you're trying to open your phone with facial recognition and it doesn't work, it's recording that. And that is a lot of information that we didn't have at our disposal prior to this trial. So not only did my audience get to see how the trial works, what happens after the arrest, we also learned a wealth of information and had an enjoyable time doing so, because everybody in the chat was wonderful people and we don't have the same viewpoints. Believe me, we don't. And, you know, in our society on YouTube, you are taught if you don't have the same viewpoints, you can't get along with that. That's untrue. That is untrue. You can have adult conversations, have, dissect the trial, dissect these cases, and still not believe what one another believes, and still do it respectfully with one another. And if nothing has shown that, that is what this Alex Murdaugh showed, at least for our chat group. Because in our chat group, we've got people that go from him being guilty of sin to him being completely, utterly innocent and have no knowledge. We have people that believe he did it. We have people believe that he hired somebody to do it. So we have a mixed bag of people in the chat that's constantly engaging each other in their theories and speculation as to what they believe has happened. You know, we put polls in there. You know, do you believe he's innocent or guilty? Do you believe this is going to end in a hung jury? One of the ones was when John Marvin Murdaugh was on the stand. We put out a poll. Do you believe John Marvin Murdaugh's statements are tainted? You know, we are constantly engaging our audience related to these cases. And so it's been a really enjoyable time. And then of course they saved me yesterday because I had a 14-hour drive. And, you know, we did have some technical issues going through 5 different states yesterday, but and on the grand scheme of things, I think it was enjoyable. You know, it made the drive lot less on me. It didn't feel like I was on the road for 14 hours yesterday. And it was just an enjoyable time. And so that's really why I did it. I don't strive to work 10 and 12-hour days. I have to be honest with you, but I thought the Alex Murdaugh case was definitely worth it for the audience. So I hope you guys did enjoy it. We're kind of winding down on that case. And let me see if my video is just about ready. I want to get it over, and then I'll have to re-upload it. Okay, it was. So there we go. Once it gets loaded in here, we'll just watch it. So getting back to this, I'm going to go ahead and pop this up, and then I've got to share it because this is the only way I can really share it. So hopefully you guys will see it. Okay. There we go. So this is the one that was collected. Again, this is from Pennsylvania. This tells you his address, Bryan Kohberger, 119 Lambsden Drive, Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, 18210. And here is the description of all the items that they seized. So they seized 1 Defiant silver flashlight, 4 medical style gloves. So I think that's a set of 2. A white Arizona Jean Company large t-shirt, Champion Wazoo Washington Cougars large black sweatshirt, a pair of, what just happened? Oh, sorry about that. I know what happened. Sorry about that. It's my video that just popped up. A black and white size 13 Nike shoes, a pair of Idaho Under Armour socks, Under Armour black large shorts, Under Armour black boxers large, and one buccal swab. So that is what was seized, and that was seized on December 30th, 2022. And here is the stipulation to unseal with redactions. Come now, the state of Idaho, by and through Latah County Prosecuting and the above style named defendant by and through his undersigned attorney of record, and hereby stipulates the court unsealing the attached redacted copy memo summarized a January 13th, 2023 in-chamber conference, which filed under seal on January 20th, 23. The redaction are pursuant to the Idaho Court Administrative Rule 32I2D, in that given the extent of threats and harassment of potential witness, disclosure of redacted potential witness lists and their respective names at this time might threaten and endanger the life or safety. It's submitted the 24th day of February 2023. I hate to break the news to them. We already know the main players in this. We already know their full entire names. We know their families. We know where they live. We know where they're staying. I mean, if they had such a life-threatening issue, then you would think that they would have them under watch. The following is a summary of the in-chamber Zoom meeting with Judge Marshall on January 13th. Following the attorneys were present, Bill Thompson, the prosecutor, Ashley Jensen, senior deputy prosecutor, attorney for blank, 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 attorney for Shannon Gray, attorney or Gonzalez's family, Ann Taylor, public defender for Bryan Kohberger, Judge Marshall, blah, blah, blah. This meeting was off the record. Judge Marshall read a substantive part of the non-dissemination order that was issued on January 3rd. Judge Marshall reminded the parties that the order mirrors Idaho Rules of Professional Conduct, Rule 3.6, which she then reads. Judge Marshall directed everyone's attention to the commentary for the rule, specifically subparagraph 1 and 3. Judge Marshall states her reading of commentary 3 leads her to believe that the rule applies to all lawyers participating in the Zoom meeting. This includes not only the state and the defense, but also the attorneys for the witnesses. Judge Marshall directed everyone's attention to the commentary for the rule, specifically paragraph 5 and 7. After review of Rule 3.6, Judge Marshall explains that the purpose for this meeting was in response to what she's been saying or hearing from various media sources. She tried to ignore most media coverage the case, since she will be presiding over the preliminary hearing. This case has garnered national and international attention. This is a high-profile case, and she wants to remind all attorneys not to engage in any conduct that would interfere with a fair trial, because the nature of the case, this will be a long process. She further advised that it is not the responsibility of the attorneys in this case to disseminate information to the media. She is not ordering clients, i.e. witnesses, not to talk to media, but stresses that the case should not be tried in the media, but in the court of law. Lawyers involved need to take their duties in the utmost regard. So she's actually saying she is not ordering clients, i.e. witnesses, to talk to media. So Dylan Mortensen, you may want to come forward and give your statement, because there's a lot of stuff going around about you, young lady. And if there's a reasonable explanation, we would like to know. Lawyers involved need to take their duties in utmost regard when conducting themselves and advising their clients. Judge Marshall stated that she wanted to make her exceptions clear regarding the lawyer's ethical duties described above. If the lawyers fail to adhere to their ethical duties, she will have to either find them in contempt of her order or report their actions to the Idaho State Bar. So this is only, so far, it sounds like this is only directed at the attorneys. And she only has enforcement measures at the attorney level. Shannon Gray responded that he reached out after the non-dissemination order and was issued asking for clarification, and he did not receive a response. He asked for the order to preclude victims and witnesses from speaking to Judge Marshall reiterated that her order does not preclude witnesses from speaking. Blank responded that he expects his client Blank will be a witness in the case. He also expects the decedent's families will be witnesses. In this case, it is the potential capital case they would be calling to testify. He has handled numerous homicides cases, including capital cases during his career. He assures the court he has advised his client, Blank, decline all media and will continue to do that. He and his client will not comment, as it would be inappropriate to comment. Judge Marshall appreciates Blank's perspective. Judge Marshall reiterates she is not saying the clients cannot talk to media, but does question whether it is wise for them to talk to media. Reminds lawyers that they have a responsibility in giving advice to their clients. If any lawyer has questions about this or takes issue with this, they should contact the Idaho State Bar and seek clarification. So she's basically saying, if you were represented by an attorney, we'll go after your attorneys, but not the witnesses, because we believe the attorneys should not be allowing their clients to come forward. So yeah, so one judge presiding over a case stops the First Amendment speech of multiple people at the expense of attorneys and the threat of them being having a bar referral or sanctions or something to that effect. Shannon Gray speaks about emailing the state and wanting to contact the court to seek clarification. Mr. Gray stated he would seek clarification from the Idaho State Bar. Judge Marshall responded that she appreciates Mr. Gray reaching out, but that she has had limited access with full court calendar. This is why she scheduled this meeting. Mr. Gray discussed the probable cause affidavit and alleges that the information is getting leaked from the prosecutor's office. Judge Marshall reminded the parties about the IRCP 3.6 and the lawyer's duties. Lawyers should not be speculating. Judge Marshall clarifies that the public record is what is in the court's case file. It is not information reported by the media. Judge Marshall, let me read that again, clarifies that public record, she identifies this as public record, is what's in the court's file, it is not information reported by the media. Does that mean she just admitted that her office is leaking the information? Like, I don't know. She's saying it's in the court file, so anyways, Judge Marshall clarifies attorneys are not prohibited from advising their clients, but they are prohibited from speaking to the media. Example, you can advise your client about what might happen at the status hearing, but you should not be speculating what will happen to the media. Judge Marshall also reminds attorneys that their statements made must also be true. Mr. Gray takes issue with the interpretation of substantially prejudice, referring to substantial likelihood of materially prejudicing an adjudicative proceeding in the matter. States his client Gonsalves have kept this story alive, and their comments have helped the investigation. Judge Marshall explains the necessity of convening an impartial jury in Latah County. The public is obsessed with this case, and comments are harming the ability to impanel a jury. When have we ever? I'm literally asking you. When have we ever, other than Alec Murdaugh, had a high-profile case in the county that they were arrested in? How many times? Every single one has requested a venue change. Every single one. It's like standard operating procedure when you're dealing with a high profile case. Here in with Alec Murdaugh, he was able to stay in his own courthouse. However, they had in-panel jurors from outside. And this was a big case too. And guess what? They were able to get an impartial jury. So give me a break with this nonsense. Give me a break. The 99%, I guarantee there's going to be a change of venue in this case. This will not be presided in Latah County, Judge Marshall. You know that as well as I do. Give it up. All parties need to allow the judicial process to see the case through. Mr. Gray responds that it is unrealistic to believe that we will find a jury in the U.S. that hasn't heard about this case. Mr. Gray takes issue that he was not given a lot of notice that we would be having this meeting. He was not given enough time to prepare. Judge Marshall reminds the parties that the Constitution still applies in this case. Lawyers have a duty to uphold the system and allow the system to see the case through. Everybody else has to follow the Constitution except Judge Marshall. Blank reminds Mr. Gray that he is creating a record by his media interaction. His statements are being captured by the defense. All of these statements impact the case. So what? So what? That's something that they are going to have to get over. So what? He has a right to speak. I'm sorry. I didn't know we were in Nazi Germany over here. I didn't know we had brown coats controlling our every move and what we're allowed to say. It's crazy to me, out of all the high profile cases we've had, that one attorney speaking about his clients that aren't even witnesses to the case, just happen to be the family of one of the victims, somehow will tip the scale and cause Bryan Kohberger to walk free. I doubt that highly. I doubt that highly. All of his statements impact the case and advise Mr. Gray to explain restraint. Maybe, Judge, you should, learn that same statement, restraint. Like not violating people's rights, the public's rights to know what is going on in this matter. Maybe let's try that first. Instead of you worrying about everybody else, let's worry about your own conduct there, Judge. Mr. Gray takes issue with blank advice. Miss Marshall stopped any argument. Judge Marshall stopped any argument. Judge Marshall solicits final comment for those in attendance. Prosecutor Thomas states that many of Mr. Gray's accusations are not true. It doesn't matter whether they're true or not true. That's part of your First Amendment freedom of speech. You're allowed to lie if you so choose. The state is concerned about the ability to impanel a jury and have a fair trial. That's what the change of venue is. That's why we have other less restrictive means to handle this type of thing that have been very successful for hundreds of years. I'm pretty sure we can handle this. He is hopeful that all parties will begin to show professional responsibility. I would say if you want professional responsibility, maybe you should show it yourself. I mean, that would be my suggestion, FYI. Just saying. I believe in the law. I believe that there are things in the law to prevent, we have voir dire, we have jury selection. They have a right to ask the questions. They have a right to research the jury to make sure it's the jury that they want. There's a lot more less restrictive means than what they're doing. So I'm sorry. You're right. We do all have to follow the law. And so do you, Judge Marshall. That redacted attorney's name, I believe, is the attorney for Dylan Mortensen. Because I have never seen them redact an attorney's name before. And we know that Dylan Mortensen had an attorney as well. They didn't have a problem showing Gonzalez as an attorney, right? And they believe that, according to them, that the witnesses would be harassed and possibly their life threatened. Their life threatened. If people are threatening people's lives because they're watching something on YouTube or social media, you got something wrong with you. Let me just say that. We don't go threatening people. We don't violate the law. As advocates for the law, we all follow the same law when we do it dutifully. And I'm sorry, but when it comes to somebody's right to speak, I don't want a judge telling me I can't say something. I would violate the order. If I was in this situation, I would have her arrest me. You're not going to violate my First Amendment rights. And if we have to take it up to the Supreme Court, that's exactly what we'll do. But I will not stand behind a court order. Now, what Gonzalez family probably ought to do is let their attorney go and just start speaking to media. They don't have to, they're not required to have an attorney to speak on their behalf. And if their attorney is going to be sanctioned for speaking on their behalf, then fine. Let the attorney go and you go speak on your own behalf. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. So here is a video. I want to pull this video up. Give me just a second and you guys will get to see it. I'll have to redo the anyways. Give me just a second. Let me find the video file and we'll play it on here. Find added. Reset. There we go. Let it load. So this is going to be coming out later today. You guys get a first sneak peek of this video, and then we'll go through some other stuff.
Hey guys, good morning. Bullhorn Betty here. It is Wednesday morning.
Sorry, it's dark.
March 1st. Today is March 1st. Good morning, everyone. So I'm Bullhorn Betty, and I'm covering the Idaho 4. This is the death of 4 university-age students, Kaylee Gonzalez, Maddie Mogan, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle. They were murdered in their off-campus housing on the outskirts of the University of Idaho campus in Moscow, Idaho, on November 13th in the early morning hours, and believed to have been murdered between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. in the morning. So there's been a lot of people coming out about Bryan Kohberger, about trying to prove this man's innocence. And here is an article that I found on Reddit. So here is an article on Reddit, and it says, zeroing in on Bryan Kohberger with DNA results. I believe law enforcement only zeroed in on Bryan Kohberger after they received DNA results back. Then they researched him, found his car similar to what they were looking for, and obtained his cell phone records. The lesson here, 1, don't submit your DNA to genealogy sites. And 2, don't give your phone number to cops who pull you over. I'm not sure how I feel about that intro into this, but we'll continue to read. I understand if you read the probable cause affidavit, it tells a story that sounds like they tracked him down from the work of the WASU, which is Washington State University, security guards reporting his car, but they are just putting events in order. There were so many white Elantras that it was virtually a dead end for police, and if the actual Elantra driver came forward, they would have had nothing to do with it and still be blamed for the crime, so it kind of keeps people from wanting to volunteer that info. We don't know how many DNA profiles the police found in the house. Based on the importance of the case, I bet they took more samples than usual. And based on the parties at the house, they probably received a lot of DNA profiles that haven't been mentioned. They probably ran all the DNA profiles, and most were not a match to anyone in the system or genealogy databases except for one, Bryan Kohberger. I expect they received the results back on 12/22 or 12/23 because they then issued a warrant for his phone records on 12/23. And sometime after 12/23, the police probably asked the forensic car person if it could be a 2015 Elantra, and also reviewed Dylan Mortensen to see if she could ID him or provide more details. Her response, possibly, I don't know, but he had bushy eyebrows. Why did law enforcement aggressively go after Bryan rather than taking him in for questioning first? Because they know that this is the only hope. The reason
I do want to say this is I believe they didn't take him in because they didn't want to tip their hand that they were looking at him and investigating him. That is probably the reason why they didn't take him out. I'm sure they questioned him when they got him in his in custody. But when you have an overwhelming amount of evidence against one person, you don't need to have that conversation. Yeah, you want their statements on the record, which I'm sure he either declined to talk to them, or his attorney made a statement for him. It doesn't sound like any statements have been made to law enforcement about Bryan Kohberger that we know of yet. So just keep that in mind.
The rest of the DNA results were a bust, and the car thing was just way too generic to lead anywhere. I'm sure they looked at the usual suspects in the area, like those sex offender registry, but it turned up nothing. Everyone said they were sleeping, and the police had nothing to indicate otherwise. My question to you all, did law enforcement say this was the only DNA? Did they say there were no samples found under the nails? My hunch is that there's much more to the story, and Bryan was the convenient scapegoat. Now everyone is ready to close up the evidence, knock down the house, and execute him by firing squad. It's outrageous. This is on the Bryan Kohberger spot in Reddit. I am sorry, but I believe law enforcement has a heck of a lot more than just a small little, bushy eyebrow comment from Dylan Mortensen and a spot of DNA on the sheath. The beginning of this, going into this article, it says, don't give your DNA to databases, and don't give your number to law enforcement if they pull you over. Okay, well, if you're a criminal, maybe those are the things you don't want to do. At the end of the day, to say that it's our fault for taking a test with DNA, with a genealogy site, and, God forbid you get pulled over, don't cooperate with law enforcement. That is such a better messaging for the public than just saying, hey, let's not go and murder 4 innocent people in their home while they are trying to sleep. Let's just not give law enforcement our phone numbers, and don't check your genealogy, because if you commit a crime, they might get you through the genealogy database. Give me a break. And not only that, but do you realize that there are so many people that don't even know that they're related that are getting these genealogy tests? It still would have traced back to Bryan Kohberger. At the end of the day, watching the Alex Murdaugh trial, we learned a lot. We learned a lot about cell phone towers, how phones work and function, and more importantly, OnStar data in the black box in our car, and how those items help convict people. We hear through the probable cause affidavit of Brett Payne about this phone number and plotting the phone track. Then we hear about this white Elantra, and we see and reread that it was seen in videos, multiple videos. And it was very distinct because at the time, it did not have front and back license plates, only a back license plate, which is typical of southern states. After listening to the Alex Murdaugh trial, I realized that they have a heck of a lot more than just some minor DNA. And again, we talked about this at length. And the at length part was that, he's not getting away with this. They have more information. I guarantee that they have his OnStar data. He's plugged his phone into the car. We know that the cars can download stuff from phones. We know they can tell when the car is engaged and moving. So there's a lot more to this case than that. I also believe that what is going to seal Bryan Kohberger's fate is the fact that he went to that house multiple times. He obviously was stalking them. So I'm just curious, what do you think about this article? Do you agree with it or disagree with it? Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. God bless each and every one of you. And until next time, please be safe.
So there you have it, guys. We're also talking about people that are now madly in love with Bryan Kohberger. One lady actually getting his face tattooed right over her heart. That, to me, is insane. I have to be honest. Insane. Yep. Did I say it? Yep. Insane. Bryan Kohberger is accused of arresting or killing people. Yeah, not my type. You ladies can have him. Okay. Sleep with one eye open, please. But you ladies can have him. Right? But we learned a lot in the Alex Murdaugh case. And yeah, it's twisted. Like you and I, that's what I'm saying. We get it. Yeah, you get it. Get it. But I'm telling you, this is getting insane. Where are these women coming from? What kind of woman wants a man that has accused of murdering these people? I'd like to know. What? Richard Ramirez was married in prison. I don't get it. Like, I'm a female. Like, I'm not marrying you when you're gone. It ain't happening. I'm sorry. If I'm with somebody, I want to wake up with them. I want their arms around me when you know what I'm saying? Like that, I'm not good at having an absent partner in a relationship. I'm divorced. Remember that. I've already experienced an absent partner in a relationship. I'm not doing it again. So this is just insane for me. It really is. Like, my brain, I can't. I literally just can't. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and pop open the chat here. I'm going to go ahead and bring people on panel, whoever wants to talk about anything. If you guys got new cases and want to chat about a new case, bring it up. But and mods, if you could copy that link, that would be great. But damn, like, do you really believe that these people are just out there with pitchforks saying, "Oh, he looks like he could be guilty. Let's bring him in. Let's bring him all the way back from Pennsylvania." Guys, they have more on Bryan Kohberger than we know. And this illusion that some of these people have that this man is innocent, I'm sorry, I just don't see it. But again, you know what? We're getting down to the wire on good morning, Shannon. Nice to see you. We're getting what does it say? No, I'll pass. I need someone like that have to sleep light with something under my pillow. Oh, but but I want you guys to come up here and express your viewpoints on either Alex Murdaugh or the Idaho 4 or combination. Like, these cases, they're not the details of each case is unique. Okay, we'll give it that. So, the details in Alex Murdaugh differ a lot compared to Bryan Kohberger's case, but there's a lot of similarities. They both have vehicles. They both are accused of murdering somebody. They both had cell phones. All these things, these cell towers, the phone records, the extractions. Remember, we learned on the extractions for Alex Murdaugh that things were deleted from Maggie's phones. Things were deleted from Paul's phones. Things were deleted from Alex Murdaugh's phone. So when they extracted those phones or got the extractions from the provider, they were able to see. So there's not really a whole lot you can hide on your phone. I mean, they're going to get the information. So where does that, leave everything? Do we really believe Bryan Kohberger was just the scapegoat? By a show of hands, actually, let's put it to a poll. Let's put it to a poll. Give me just a second. I think I can do it from here. Give me just a second. There we go. So we're going to do a poll here. All right, so let's take this poll. We got over 400 people in this chat right now. The poll should be coming out. It's asking you, do you believe Bryan Kohberger is the scapegoat? So everybody, if you guys are seeing that pop up, please, please answer the poll. We want as many people. It was a typo. Did I typo, Brian? Or was that for you? Okay, so do you believe BK is a scapegoat? Okay, good. So we're already up to 45. Great job, guys. Already up to 45 votes. So keep those votes coming. We've got 420 people in the chat right now. And we want to have as many people that's in the chat voting. Even the haters that are watching, we know you exist out there. Hi. We want you to vote too. We want you to vote too. Your vote matters. Your vote matters in CASA BHB. Okay? You may hate me, but your vote matters. So everybody get over there and answer that question. Let me see where we are right now. We're already at 1 minute, 81 votes. Good job, guys. Good job. But I like the polls because I think the polls keep everybody anonymous. And, you know, some people are, in my opinion, you know, they're almost scared. Like we have, like, that's what I you know, I really appreciate from Mike Stevens is that, you know, when we're talking about Alex Murdaugh, Mike has changed positions where Mike believed that this was that Alex Murdaugh was guilty. But when Alex took the stand, Mike changed to guilty, or not guilty, to innocent. And not just, I mean, just innocent. Like he does not believe that this is at all, you know, that he had anything to do with it. So, but we like that because it gives us an opportunity to have, you know, dialogue, to have a healthy debate about the facts and the issues. And it, you know, but he stands alone. I'm not alone. There's a few people in the audience. I shouldn't say it like that. But what I like about it is that, you know, normal people won't take that position because they're scared they're going to somehow be put on the chopping block. I don't know. But I like the anonymity of the poll. You know, nobody's seeing your name putting a 1 or a 2 in the box. So take the poll. I'm very interested in what your beliefs are. Leilani guilty. Yeah, that's another one. Is I absolutely believe Leilani is guilty, and she was named a suspect in that and her son's death early on. Even though she was on double probation, couldn't pass a P test. The no charge Hadley, police chief, no charge Hadley, decides to leave her out for weeks, running the streets, being around other children. Just a despicable environment. And of course, we realize that Chatham County is 1, corrupt as hell. 2, does not follow the law, clearly. They don't believe in the law, not even the attorneys. They're a disgrace. The whole damn governing body in that town needs to be fired. Literally needs to be fired. Unless whoever is in that town is going against the grain, and you guys need to retain whoever they may be. How's sepsis? That's a good question. I wonder how sepsis is. I've been so busy. I haven't even had a chance to be in our group chat. I'll have to ask how sepsis is doing. I know, as many of you guys know, she's got a lot of medical issues and constantly in and out of the hospital. And we're just very blessed for every day we get to have with her. And definitely love her enthusiasm for the channel, love her support, and always, you know, worried about her because she's family. So I don't know. I'll have to reach out and see how she's doing today. And I'm sorry, I probably should have already done that, but I've just been traveling and trying to get so much stuff done that some things go to the wayside, including my own family. Like my mom, my time with my mom was designing these flyers, her sewing on a button to my wool jacket so I could come to DC, and me taking her out to lunch. And that was really the, you know, we didn't really have a whole lot of time to even kind of catch up because I've been so busy. So it's not just my friends that have to live with me not being there. It's also my family that loves me very, very, very much, that are going without me so I can be shared with all of you. So But we are trying to make differences. And at the end of the day, who can be mad at somebody? Oh, unless you're a hate channel, right? Unless you're a hate channel. But who can be mad for somebody really trying to stand up and fight for our children? You know who? Go look at YouTube, and anybody complaining about me being here to do this, there's your problem, right? That's your problem. And if you guys are subbed up to those channels, you might want to consider removing your subscription, because anybody that sits there and has a problem with this, if you have a problem with this, you're probably part of the problem. It's not me. It's you. And if you need a sign to tell you, here, let me help you out here. Do you need a sign? You hate channels? There's your sign. There it is, right there. There's your sign. It ain't me, baby. It's you. Nothing happened. I'm just proactive because we know we're going to be attacked. Think about it. I went out there, took my time to actually search for a little 2-year-old boy that was lost, right? It wasn't law enforcement that found that child. It was searchers like me. It was volunteers like me. There was only one creator out there in the woods searching for that little boy from social media. Only one. And that was me. Were there other creators out there? Yeah, reporting. They were reporting. They weren't in the woods. They weren't getting their legs scratched up. They weren't running through poison oak. They weren't searching under heavy logs and sticks and in holes. The volunteers were. I was part of the volunteer team. I was out there in the woods. I was out there where there were snakes and wild animals. Not on concrete filming people doing it. Did we film? Yeah, we filmed my work doing it, not somebody else's. And it was a searcher just like me, a volunteer just like me that found that little boy. And you know what? People wanted to hate on that too. Can you believe that? People wanted to hate on that too. Oh, well, see, you guys don't know what you're doing. It takes a Marine. That Marine was it was anybody's guess. They chose to break away from the pack. I didn't even know you could. We were shoveled into, when we got to the area that we were, I'm telling you, there is no way that boy would have survived that area. And if he wouldn't have survived, we would have been able to find him. And he was not there. I knew he was not in that area that we were searching. I said that to other searchers. He's not here. Because I went all the way slap to the back. He was not there. I checked the ravines. He was not there. He was over 2 miles away from me because we were on one end and the little boy's on the other end. So thank God that they broke away and decided to check that area out. You know, this was a lifelong resident here. So very much a hero. Yeah, absolutely. The retired Marine is a hero. Absolutely. Oh, thank you, Sam and Wendy. God bless you. I'm going to go over to the other side and see what the super sticker looks like. Aw, thanks for being you. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. God bless you. And lo and behold, the hate channels have to come out and criticize the fact that I was there to help a little boy and a family. How sickening and disgusting is that? And shame on the people that support that garbage. First of all, I was out there. I drove myself there. Nobody forced me to go. The reason why I was there was to help a family and search for a child. And I told you, if I ever saved a child from a burning building, the hate groups would say I started the fire. And sure as the day is long, let me go out and help a boy and complete a must-have on my want list of being able to be part of bringing a child home. We were able to complete that goal. That was on my list. We talked about my list at the beginning of the year. And we were actually involved in the search of a child and bringing a child home safely to his family. That was one of the most rewarding experiences I have ever had. And for the hate channels to do what they do, hate. They do nothing. They support nothing unless it's hate. They have never once printed a flyer. And they only support, they support other channels that do the same work that we do. Only if they do what they do and attack Bullhorn Betty. They get a free pass. They can cover cases and be tragedy pimps all day long. And it's okay for the hate groups as long as they hate Bullhorn Betty. That is sick. That is sick. And a social worker saying, I don't know, honey, you're a social worker. You don't know what's needed. You're told what to do by people like me. Get used to it. My birthday, Southern Granny Wolf. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. How old are you? Don't lie. You're 21, aren't you? First year of drinking, isn't it? Be careful. Be careful. We know Southern Granny Wolf. Hot 21-year-old. Hot 21-year-old. Don't lie. I stopped birthdays at 25. I will forever be 25. So my birthday coming up September, throw me a 25-year-old birthday. I'm not getting off 25. Of course. Perfect. Couldn't say it better myself, Just Debbie. I really couldn't. So let's all sing happy birthday, right? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Southern Granny Wolf. Happy birthday to you. Toot toot. You got a happy birthday song from Bullhorn Betty. Don't expect me to do that again, okay? At least without music. So happy, so happy. Nobody's come up on panel. Who's coming up on panel with me? Mike, get your butt up here. I'll keep you, you don't even have to show your face. Come on up. Because I'm not even going to show you. So come on up. Tell me what you think about the whole Alex Murdaugh. Tell me what you think about Alex Murdaugh trial. I'm poking fun. I got to poke fun at Mike. Mike, I love Mike. Mike's awesome. Oh, gosh. Be careful. Future SW here. Oh. Or just Samantha, you can come up too because you've been kind of following all this. Have we have any more information for the Kohberger case? I know you've been kind of working. Who cares if you're shy? Get out of your shyness. Come on up. Come on up. I won't even show your face. And trust me, everybody says I'm shy until you talk to me. Once you start talking to me, you're like, you'll realize just how easy it is to talk to me. Mike is cute. I know. Shy Mike. Shy Mike. So, what do you guys, let me see how we're doing on the poll, and we'll get that poll. So, we got 100. So it's still clicking up. We have over 180 votes so far. I'm going to go ahead and end this poll now. So we do have some people that believe that Bryan Kohberger is the scapegoat. 22%. We have 78 that believe. Let me make sure I got the numbers right. Let me make sure I got the numbers right here. Give me just a second. Okay, so yeah, do you believe BK is a scapegoat? 78% believe that no, he's not a scapegoat, and 21% of our audience believes he is. So there is a good healthy number in our group that doesn't believe. Okay, let me do another poll. We're going to see about guilt and innocent and see where people stand on that. But we don't have a lot of information, so there's no right or wrong answer with this because we're not in the trial process. But let's find out. Do you believe BK is innocent? or guilty based on the info we have available. Okay. If there's any misspellings, I did it quickly. I apologize. There is another poll, and it's going to say, do you believe BK is innocent or guilty based on the information we have available? So I put that extra part in there because there isn't a whole lot that is available. We do have the Brett Payne affidavit. We do have some other stuff that's available. Jules Lilly is saying, I have an idea about Maggie phone. Do you think Alex put it in the golf cart and threw it away while on the cart? It's possible. It sounds like it wasn't, well, where it was found was 3/4 of a mile away. And in a golf cart to go 3/4 of a mile away would have been several minutes there and back. And I don't think he had the time to, I mean, it's plausible. It's possible, but I'm trying to process it, like walk myself through play the tape forward. So the way I'm looking at it is we know he had enough time to clean up. Okay. So what I mean by that is the state's theory is that both Paul and Maggie were dead by, let's just say, rounded up to 8:50 at night. He didn't leave his house until 9:07, potentially 9:06, right around 9:06, 9:07 is when he's walking out the door to get in his truck. But the truck is moving, engaged, and driving away at 9:07. So there is that, 15 to 17 minute window he has. We know that from 8:53 to 8:57 or somewhere, I may have the times wrong, the actual time. We know he was inside the house walking 283 steps in a small amount of time while making a bunch of phone calls. So we know that he was at the house at that time. So where did he have the time to get in the cart and drive it based upon the testimony that we have available to us from the trial? It would be plausible, but I think the time limit that they have, and the fact that Maggie's phone turned on at a specific time that they believe that it may have been at that point tossed out the window, it kind of lines up when his car was in motion to Alameda. They had the timeline. They didn't have it that way until, all right, Mama Bullhorn, you can go ahead and turn your camera off. I see you. Okay. Give me just a second, Mama. And so I think that the timeline and the OnStar data have him in motion in his vehicle around the time that phone, they believe, was thrown out the window. Well, hello, Mama Bullhorn. Good morning to you, up bright and early.
Good morning, everyone. I got to bed very, very, very late, and I slept late, of course.
Oh, I'm just the opposite. After eating dinner, I came back here and crashed out.
Well, let me tell you, baby, I was wound tighter than a spring watching you drive and do live. You know how I am, your mother. And
I was hands-free.
The minute, I tell you what, we built fence all day yesterday, and here at the Rusty Kettle. And I was so tired. When I saw you in your hotel, I fell asleep for 4 hours.
Oh.
And
I was thankful to be here. And not only that, but I was thankful that because, I'm budgeting, so I go cheap. I mean, it's still expensive around here. I mean, I've already forked out $600, not including gas, and that's for a shitty hotel. So I was concerned about it being clean. I was pleasantly surprised the room was clean.
Well, you know what I said about Washington, D.C. It's very expensive. I would suggest you're taking the metro if you need to go somewhere to see something rather than drive.
Yeah, well, you know what? I was actually pleasantly surprised because I do have the vehicle. And so I met Okie Crime News out for dinner last night, and I drove into the city and was able to find a free parking spot.
Wow.
I
Lucky
know.
you. It costs about $25 to park there.
And that's what I'm going to have to do the rest of this week. Today I get my credentials to get into the event. And they said that they would have, cheap parking voucher, self-parking, but it'll be $25. So I'm just going to fork out the $100.
They think that's cheap. I tell you what, the trial, it was a big, how do I want to say? The end of the trial was such a farce. And I don't know what the jury going out there and looking around is going to do, because it's so overgrown. And
actually, it's not overgrown. I was just out there. I actually walked the property, the exact area they're going to be walking. I have to say that when I was out there, though, the one thing I didn't have was the positioning of the bodies. So I was reliant on the gentleman that I just met out there. While I was there, didn't know him, he just happened to be going on the property, and I figured, well, I'll follow you. The sheriff? Sure, no problem. I'm right behind you. But we went out there, and it was, if I would have known where their positioning of the bodies were, we would have had more of an in-depth conversation. But I was kind of just getting information as we were walking. So I would have liked to have gotten more.
Well, I certainly believe Alex is guilty. And you voiced my opinion yesterday. I truly believe that the tears you're seeing him cry are for himself, because it's an oh shit moment for him to realize, he didn't realize all of that. He was totally ignorant of the electronics.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he knew the phone logs, and I think he knew the basics, because he does civil cases. So they've asked for phone logs before, and may have even subpoenaed phone records from a cell phone company. But that's only one aspect of it. I mean, we learned a lot. We learned about cell towers. We learned about the inner workings of phones, which I don't see him having the necessity of knowing when a phone was turned on, turned up. He didn't know all of those fine details of what a phone can truly do for you and what it's recording behind the scenes that you're blissfully unaware of. And I think it was those things that caught him.
Absolutely. And I'll advise everyone out there that's got elderly parents to program, if they have their phone with them all the time, or unless they're like your stepdad, leaves his phone at home just so I can't call him. But turn on your Find My Phone app, because if 90% of the silver alerts we have today could be solved right away, with the elderly people, like family members denying their elderly parents, would be solved just by turning on one feature on my phones. Find My Phone. They could find
it. And I think every phone, even the Android phones, has some type of something like that can be installed. But me personally, just for my audience, I use Life 360. I actually personally like that particular app, because you can have different, instead of one person having access, you can have different groups. So like I can share certain information with my family group and separate information with my friend group. But I personally like Life 360. However, everybody that's in that group has to have that app on their phone. But for Apple phones, they have the Find My App phone on there, built into the phone itself, that you don't have to download anything. But for the Android users that have, because I mean, there for a while, you're an iPhone user, I was an Android user. Our phones don't necessarily communicate with one another, so we would have to use something else. And I know there's got to be more families like that.
Well, another thing is runaway teenagers. I have a lot of experience in that department. But they're so savvy. They're so much more savvy than we parents. They would turn it off.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that even kids, they're clever. I mean, think about it. Whenever we were growing up, I mean, I was kind of the brainiac when it came to digital stuff in our household growing up, because you and Dad. I mean, even the answering machines, Dad never even knew how to work the damn answer machines. This is before voicemail.
Mm-hmm.
For those folks out there that are too young, and it's like, what's an answering machine?
Yeah,
it's what we had before cell phones and voicemail.
I remember the first cell phone I bought your dad.
Oh, the big box.
It was like a brick, but we used two-way radios.
Yeah, the CB.
We had a radio in the office and a radio in the trucks, and
everybody, they think I'm like an astrological person because my nickname's Star Baby 2.
I know.
And it was
Star Baby 1 and Star Baby 2 because
that was our
two-way
radio rooms.
Yeah, it was like your handle.
Mm-hmm.
And but back to Bryan Kohberger. So much is going to come out. So much is there's no hope. I think they'll end up changing the venue because of the prejudice in Washington, around the Washington University, in that county, in both counties actually, and they're going to have a hard time finding a jury. And
well, here's the issue. I take issue with the fact of all these gag orders going out. Look, we've been processing trials for centuries. Okay. There have been trials going on in this country, literally centuries. And this idea that these first of all, the gag orders are unnecessary. There's a lot of less restrictive measures that can be made. We hear change of venue all the time, even in cases that aren't even national and international cases. People change the venue in. They have the ability of bringing in outside jurors. There are so many things that they can do. There is, if Alec Murdaugh in Low Country can get jurors, then obviously so can Bryan Kohberger.
But how many of those jurors do we know that do not have a connection to the good old boys club?
They do voir dire. They make them answer. They make them answer questions, and it would be a mistrial. So they do an in-depth research on these jurors. I can tell you that.
The last jury I served on, the voir dire, the pages that you fill out on voir dire before they actually bring you in to give you voir dire, it was like 2 pages of questions that you had to fill out before they even come back. And I was there all day long. And there were 4 of us day from just where I worked that got jury summons to serve on the same jury. And it was a murder trial. But the thing is, they struck a deal. In other words, we didn't have to serve. The guy said, yes, I'm guilty, but I want a deal. I'll give you information, that kind of thing. And it was the trial. I don't know if you remember, about 10 years ago, they found a body over here next to where I live in a garbage bag that had been burnt. And
that was sad. I think that had to have been several years ago. It was before I was in true crime. So
yes. Well, the thing is, they had the defendant, as we walked in to the jury room, the courtroom, to be voir dired. He was dressed like his attorney, and he was shaking our hands, every one of us, as we walked in the room, and we didn't even know he was the defendant.
Yeah.
I had a problem with that.
How do you feel? Let me just cut you off. I don't mean to, but how do you feel about knowing that witnesses are inside that courtroom listening to other witness testimony?
I don't agree with that. I mean, every single witness here in Florida, you cannot You cannot be in the courtroom while someone else is testifying. It is not lawful. And I think it prejudices the witnesses. Absolutely. And I don't understand why they had that iPhone guy up yesterday, except to explain how iPhones can be tracked when they're thrown.
Yeah.
That,
And well, I think the defense kind of ate him up on the stand, in my opinion. That was the first one that I believe that they kind of got him. But the information that he was providing was so insignificant, it really didn't matter. It didn't tip the scale one way or another, in my opinion. But Ken Kensington, that's what I really like. The one thing I like about the state's witnesses is that they explain stuff for lay people to understand and to digest. And I like the way that they were explaining stuff to the audience. If it was understandable to me, I think it was understandable to the jury. But I believe he did it. And I'm not going to come off that. Even after the jury deliberates and has a verdict, whether it agrees or mimics mine, I don't know. I mean, I'll obviously accept it because this is our justice. This is our justice system. But I believe he's guilty, and I don't think I'll come off that.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
I'm playing devil's advocate. You know, Alex followed grace from the ultra wealth lifestyle he led.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. And we're talking ultra wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
Hobnobbing with the governor, at the governor's mansion, yada, yada, yada.
And those politicians rubbed off on him because I can tell by his answers, he was politically trained.
Yes. Well, my question is, if we have another Parkland situation where we have one juror that holds out and it's considered a hung jury, okay? Do you think they'll let him out until he's tried for all the fraud?
No.
Because that was his come to Jesus moment was living in jail. And the other come to Jesus moment was right there in the courtroom when they overlaid all four his electronic info pack, his GPS, his cell phone, and Maggie's cell phone over a map with all the cell towers. I know he about shit his pants.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, excuse the French, but that's when he finally admitted to lying. Now,
yeah, but it was after. This is what I've noticed. Like even on his deathbed confession about the gun, and then his other confession about the finances, and then now this confession about being down to the kennel. It always happened after he was caught. He never proffered that information until it was the last resort, and it makes me wonder why.
He's not being honest. I don't see how the jury. Quite frankly, if I've spent my whole life watching Perry Mason, Andy Griffith, all of those crime shows, and
until the new age of crime.
I raised you. My mama, up until she died, we would sit up at night and watch Perry Mason together, and that was her favorite show. That and Rod Serling's show. But the thing I'm getting at is everyone says if you lie, 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 lie. He has done nothing for the last 10 years but lie. Think of all those poor people he sat right in front of and had them sign papers knowing that the money was going to him.
Yeah.
I mean,
let's remove his clients from this. I mean, look at all the lying he did to his family, his brothers, his father, his mother, his law partners, his best friend. Who hasn't he lied to? Who hasn't he deceived? Who hasn't he conned?
I can't believe his brothers and his cousins and all of them are still sitting behind him. I noticed Buster wasn't there yesterday.
I saw him.
Well, part of the day he wasn't. I couldn't see him. And sorry, the fog. It's froggy outside.
Let me ask you this. I'm going to take you off on a slight tangent because I've been discussing and put out a statement. You know, I'm concerned about everybody's well-being. You know, we got spy balloons being shot out of the sky. We've got, you know, factories exploding. We've got all these derailments of chemicals and things of that nature. And then as I'm leaving town yesterday, you're texting me telling me that we had a derailment.
Right. Propane.
Of propane. Do you think it's hitting us here in Florida? I don't think this is a situation where it's an infrastructure issue. I think there's more.
No, it's not. You know, that train goes through every day, 2-3 times a day. And this is like 3 miles from my house, you know, and it's like a mile from your best friend's, your bestie's house. And it derailed. Mm-hmm. And there's no apparent reason. And your friend KVO went on and posted a comment last night that he was so appreciative of CSX calling in hazmat immediately before anything else. I agree. They contained it. There was no leakage. But I honestly believe it's either gangs, local gangs doing this stuff, or something more.
But it's not a local gang that put a spy balloon up in the
but I mean this particular derailment. I think it was gang related because it's so close to the port. You know.
Well, what would gangs have to do with derailing a train that they have no clue what's on? We as normal people have no clue that a train is filled with propane or filled with toxic chemicals, but it seems like it's always the trains that are.
Yes. This is scary. It's absolutely scary. And think about it. People who do like their Tropicana orange juice, that railway is closed. And there's not going to be any Tropicana juice traveling down that train track today.
Yeah. Those that love Tropicana, if you wonder where it comes from my area. This is Tropicana, has been in Manatee County. Tropicana was one of the first corporations that actually went to the jail and hired felons to put them to work, to give them an honest day pay for an honest day's work.
Yes.
And changed a lot of lives with that advocacy.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
They've recently, over the last few years, sold to PepsiCo. And so now they're a Pepsi-owned company. But at the and I'm not sure if they even hire felons anymore, but I know that was a huge organization that really helped a lot, that truly helped change a lot of people's lives here in this county, that was able to break the cycle for many in this county, and bless them for that.
I don't know about the employee benefits, but back in the day when I worked surgical medical and I was working for a neurosurgeon, their medical package was just gold, because you know, we have like co-pays, 20/80, you know, everything. Your labs have a copay, your x-rays have a copay, your everything has a copay. Back in the day, and I'm talking before you were born, Tropicana paid it all. Yeah. They even had a staff nurse.
A retirement plan there. They don't have that retirement plan. I mean, it's kind of like you and Cisco, you know, whenever they just don't have. Thank you, Michelle. God bless you. They, you know, your benefits at Cisco used to be so much greater than what they are today.
Oh, yes.
And now, so it's one of those things. Well, you saw, I mean, Pop was able to work there 20, 30 years and have a real retirement.
I know. And every time I see a truck on the road, I say, thank you, and I wave because they're paying my pension.
Hey, gotta love it.
I remember your baby sister. I was teaching her how to count way back when she was not hardly walking by the number of trucks we'd see on. It's like seeing, when you were little, we used to look for punch buggies, and you counted one punch
I know.
buggy.
I remember punching Angela in the arm. Punch buggy, no pushbacks.
And I did that with Cisco trucks with your baby sister. But
wow, Michelle, thank you again. Love what you do, dear. You're amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I tell you what, I appreciate everyone out there for supporting my daughter, because I'm telling you, even for me, she could only squeeze out 2.5 hours of her day. For even me.
And it was a working visit too.
Yeah, I did your sewing.
You did my sewing, and I did the flyers and cut these all out and
flyers.
I gotta make sure my phone number's covered. We
got
stuff to get
pocket
out.
Stuffers, absolutely. Because if you do, I'm going to tell you, if you do, anybody out there, if you do flyers for your business and you're out in public, you don't want a whole page. Do exactly like Andra did. Make pocket stuffers, because people are more electronic these days. And send it to your phone. And people who don't want to take your flyers, just ask them for their email address
and email it to them. Yeah, because I mean, and all this is just for discussion purposes. This is to hand them something and have it to open a door, for a later discussion. I'm not trying to have the full-fledged child welfare reform discussion right then and there. I just want to plant the seeds so I have an opportunity to speak with them at a later date for a more in-depth conversation about the needs of our children.
I was, if by chance, I don't know what kind of meetings you're in there in DC, but if you could search out Marsha Blackburn. She's the Republican senator from Tennessee, Eastern Tennessee.
Well, I'll be talking to Marsha about something completely different. It's going to be about what we can do for Summer Wells. I mean, I'm going to give her this because obviously Tennessee needs reform, and I'm working with an attorney in Tennessee. So she will be one of the people that I will be specifically seeking out while I'm there.
Absolutely. And I just love the idea of just putting yourself in there. And I am so proud of what do you think the college is going to do with that property after they demolish it?
Oh, they're going to definitely destroy it. They're going to definitely demolish it. And you know what, to be honest with you, we had the discussion here on this channel. Can't say you need to demolish this house. It's privately owned. It's not owned by the university. And so I even explained to them, the university would, most likely have to purchase this property from them. I don't know if I specifically talked about the property being gifted to them, to the university, but it may have come up in those discussions because we had those discussions, last year. So I just don't, I'm a little fuzzy on it. I'll have to go back and listen to what I had stated previously. But I think it's a good idea. I think he's going to get the tax write-off for giving that property over to the university. I think he's going to be benefited well. Right now, his house is not in use and not going to be in use for the foreseeable future. I mean, it's being boarded up. I mean, the lights were on in the house for weeks. He was responsible for paying that light bill. He's responsible for paying for the mortgage and everything else that goes along with that property, whether it's being used or not. I think he made the right move of giving it to the university and allowing them to, clean the house up, putting it squarely on them. And they're going to tear it down. And I hope they don't know what they're going to do with the property right now, but I hope that they build a nicer property there for future students. And I want it to be honorary to the fallen four. I would like to see somewhere on that property or somewhere at the University of Idaho memorial for the four students that were slain. Another option would be is make it, build an office right there, some sort of office for, victim advocacy for the state, for the university, or, something of that. But I don't know if they'll put it right there next to all the kids. So we don't know. We don't know what they're going to do, but it looks like they're going to have a memorial garden. But I would like to see like a bench, something that somebody can go sit on and just honor the 4 that lost their lives.
They have so many residents so close to that little block. I don't know how that would work with the local residents. But the other thing, why? Okay, maybe you can shed some light on. When I heard they spent professional decomps were in there for a whole week decomping the property before they boarded it up. Why, if they're going to tear it down, why spend those thousands to decomp?
Probably just to see their options. They may have wanted to, because it does have good bones. So they may wanted to see if they could just, tear the inside out and reconfigure it. But the house was so choppy anyways. Yes. It really didn't have a good flow to it. So I think that was the ultimate determination. I mean, when I started hearing that people were doing crazy TikTok videos out in front of the house, I thought, how distasteful. This is not something that you want to be dancing in front of. Like, it just is so distasteful and so disrespectful to the 4 that lost their lives in that house, that I kind of understand why they just want to start anew. And I think by them demolishing that house, it's turning the page on this horrific event.
Well, that reminds me, yesterday in the trial, it came out, the defense attorney, Harpoolian, brought up.
We call him Poot, Mr. Poot Poot.
Yeah. Walter. The puppet Walter. The fact that TikTokers are going on the property at Moselle and taking TikToks in front of
the same thing. I can't complain about that. I did go and walk and try to get, so,
But you weren't dancing
I know. I get it. And even at the Idaho 4, I was out front covering the case and, bringing the news to the folks here on this channel.
But that's a different, well, in the eyes of God, I don't know how it's appearing, but you didn't pass the yellow lines. You didn't go past the yellow lines. You and Olivia did not pass the yellow lines, the yellow tape. These people are passing the yellow tape.
Yeah, it's concerning, and that's a violation, and they should be arrested for trespassing. I mean, that's clear. It's clear that it's a crime scene still. The crime scene tape's up, means it hasn't been released. It is truly a crime scene.
If Savannah is prosecuted Jimmy for supposedly
grabbing a bullhorn.
Yeah. All right. They're going to track these people down. I guarantee you, they're going to track them down.
I just want to let people know I wasn't the bullhorn he grabbed. Okay. So all the rumors out there.
No, the fish can lady.
Oh,
but anyways,
freaking nut. And can you believe she was out there with she tried to bring my 10-year-old or 20-year-old mugshot out there.
Yes.
And this is a lady that can't keep her butt out of jail. Talk about attack me and Marissa around Christmas, and goes to the wrong place and ends up getting arrested in Orlando for shoplifting yet again.
Oh, well, my mother used to say, your grandmother used to say, you can change the leopard, but you can't take the spots. You can't remove the spots. But anyways, I'm at a loss for something funny to tell today.
Let's not.
Except, oh.
It's always, all our funny stories always seem to be about me.
Oh, everyone. I am the one woman that has always, because believe it or not, I've been on the cover of a magazine. I've been here and there. throughout my life, modeled clothes for clothing shows. And
Oh, I forgot about that. I did too. I remember.
yeah.
Pennies.
Yeah. And I have never been a person to leave home without the basic mascara, blush, and lipstick, ever. Well, in the last year, I have fallen off the wagon. So Sunday and a t-shirt, no makeup, no hair, only one pair of earrings, not the second pair of earrings. And she says, "Oh, Mom, let me take you out to Amob." Well, Amob is one of the premier restaurants here in Manatee County.
Seafood restaurants.
Seafood. And I'm going, "Oh my gosh, I'm in my pajama pants." And she says, "Oh, that's okay. I'm in my pajama pants. I'll just go put on a clean t-shirt." And I said,
Right.
But baby,
So good.
I can see daylight through the seat of my pants.
I made her take her pants off and sew up the hole in her butt. And then we went and had some seafood.
And I found, and what was so humiliating is when I was back in the day when I was modeling and doing makeup and all of that, who do we run into?
Oh, that's right. You hadn't seen your friend in years.
My dear, dear friend who was in the business with me.
Yep. Yeah, she's got a few more years before she retires.
Anybody I know. Never.
But I got to roll this. It reminds me of when I was a kid. Everywhere my mom, when I was a kid, everybody in our town knew everybody. The people from Mayaca City moved into town. So mom was around all of her girlfriends and everything that she went to school with. So there was never a store we walked into where my mother wouldn't be stopped by somebody. And we're little kids, we don't even want to be shopping with mom. We want to be home playing, right? And mom would sit there for a freaking half hour to an hour in the middle of an aisle, chatting it up with one of her friends. It drove us nuts. And we're sitting there, we're bored, we're hearing them talk, and we're like, Mommy, let's go. Hush, hush, hush.
Well, now you know how I was when I was in town with my mommy. Because
yeah, and it was even a smaller town when you were younger.
Everybody, well, her hometown was Arcadia. Her family was more well known in Arcadia. She was the 1939. Your grandmother was the rodeo queen. 1939. Your grandmother was the rodeo queen. So it was like, oh my God, everybody
he
knew
loves
my
you and
mother.
to give you a big hug.
And same thing. She would stop on the sidewalk or stop in a shop and talk. And we'd keep saying, Mama. And she would say, and when you got that finger pointed at you, you knew to shut up.
Wow. I was going to say, you got 3 pointing back. That's what Daddy
But
taught me.
she would point that finger at you and you knew to clam it.
Did you hear me? Mab says good morning to you and to give you a hug.
Good morning, Mab. But anyways, I'll let you go. I've been on here way too long. And
all right.
Your stepdad has already come and shut my door.
Well, there you go.
Mouth of the South.
You can't take my name. You gave me it.
I love you.
Well, I love you. Have a great
day.
Fun today. I don't know what I'm going to do today. Today, I don't have to go and get my credentials until later this afternoon. So I'll be heading over to DC.
Well, I'll check with the lieutenant on where you need to go and what you need to see. Because, he got arrested by Secret Service for climbing the Capitol building and touching the Indian.
How old was he? You better be lucky he didn't do it anytime recently. He might still be in jail.
No, he was like 13. They didn't even arrest him. He was banished. Yeah. But your step grandfather worked right there. So it was like, he had to go into DC every single day of his life. So, but anyhow, that's enough said. I love you.
I love you too,
Have
Mom.
a wonderful day.
Mm-hmm.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So there's Mama Bullhorn, beautiful soul that she is. It's been nice chatting with her about several different cases. #1 fan of the Bullhorn Betty channel, followed by, actually, I think this gal here is the #1 fan of the Bullhorn Betty channel.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
You know, Mama Bullhorn's a distant second. I love that little girl. She always gets me in such a great mood. She really does. That's why I keep playing her, because every time I see her little face, I just brighten up and smile. It's like, even when I would have a bad day and I play that little girl, she brightens my day. And if she's brightening my day, I know she's brightening somebody in my audience's day. So you guys know, please don't wear glasses like AM. That's because I was reading, and now I can see. But yes, Tracy, I am. I was sponsored to be here. So everything's paid for me except my hotel. And it gives me an opportunity to get this stuff out to people. So there's people that believe in the message that we are that we're doing. You know, there is people out there much larger than myself that believe in the advocacy that we're doing. So I'm very honored. There was about 20 of us that were sponsored. Many of you guys know JLR is one of them, another powerhouse from Florida. You know, but I don't know what his advocacy is going to be this year, but we definitely know what mine is. And it's all about the children. It's all about the children. It's all about raising awareness. It's just, you know, we've got to have our kids safe. And I never knew, you know, despite anything in this world, I never knew that I would be covering this kind of stuff. And I never knew how many children I was covering. And when I started covering them, it tears me up inside. It really does. These children are beautiful children. And I'm just dumbfounded that nothing has been done. And I just can't sit. It's just not in my DNA to sit idly by and let somebody else do it. I've never been like that. If something needs to be done, I pick up the torch and I run with it. That's what I've been taught to do. That's my DNA. That's my makeup. That's what we do. And here we have nothing but short of a huge call for child welfare reform, which keeps going on the back burner to other types of situations. You know, I'm not getting into the voting. I'm not getting into the overseas spending. I'm not getting into the spy balloons. I'm not getting into, you know, rights to carry. I'm not getting into any of that. You know, I do care about things, but there's #1, and this is my #1 priority, our children. And it's going to continue to be my #1 priority until I start seeing change. Because I know that the best way to get change and to advocate change is to be the pimple on the butt of a politician. And if anybody can be a blister on the back end of a politician, nobody can do that better than me. Believe that. Nobody. Might be a few, but they're coming in distant second to Bullhorn Betty. I promise you, 9 o'clock. We're not going to be doing anything with Alec Murdaugh until 11. That's when we expect the jurors to be back in from the Moselle property. We are going to go live from the Bullhorn Betty channel. We're getting down to the part. We're getting, you know, the state has rested, the defense has rested, and now the jury is going out to the Moselle property this morning to take a look at it, just to get an idea, the lay of the land, how he may have come. No attorneys are allowed to speak to them. No law enforcement is allowed to speak to them. The judge may be able to give instruction, but he will be present out there. But nobody is allowed to discuss this case or deliberate in the vehicles going out there, coming back, or until it's time for them to start deliberating. They don't want premature deliberation. He has made that ultra clear to the jurors, as well as the people that are tasked with getting the jurors out to the property. They should be out there this morning. They might even already be out there, because the jury arrives early to the courthouse, and I think they were going to pick them up and take them out to that property It's about 45 minutes out to the property and 45 minutes back. So you're already looking at about an hour and a half just in travel time. And I can tell you that area by the dog kennels is not too huge. And where Maggie would have been and where Paul would have been is a really confined area. So I have a funny feeling they're going to be able to preview and walk around, in a half an hour. So I have, for all intents and purposes, I believe that they can be back at the courthouse by 11 to proceed with the ending of this trial. I'm ready for the verdict to the deliberations to start. This has been a really tiring and rough trial. It was only supposed to be 3 weeks. I mean, we're here 5 weeks later. We're on today would be day 27. The court TVs are going to say today is 25 because they're not including voir dire, which is part of the trial. The judge is considering voir dire as part of the trial. I'm considering the voir dire as part of the trial, but Court TV, Law and News, or whatever, Law and Crime, they're saying today is 25. It's not. It's 27. Today has been the 27th trial date. And these are calendar days. So there's 5 calendar days in any given week. So if you take 25 divided by 5, guess what? We're in week 6 right now of this trial. Week 6. This has been a very long, drawn-out process that I am, while we learned a lot, I think they spent entirely too much on the financial crimes. I think that a week of financial crimes was entirely too much for this trial. I think that they could have limited that, parsed that down, and got, and still had the same reaction response, and were able to have that powerful punch of his deception and deceit to his own clients in a much more condensed version. I really wish they would have condensed that version down, but I think this was an opportunity for the state to not only try this case for the murders, but also get the relevant information so he can later try the financial matter case too. And I would have taken the opportunity as well. Again, trial strategy. It's very important. They have multiple cases going on with Alec Murdaugh. And if he's not gotten on this one, he needs to get gotten on the second one. So we're going to be watching. We're going to be paying close attention. We've paid ultra close attention to this case so far. People are asking me, do I think him going on the stand was successful? For me, it didn't really move me, but I know that people in my audience were moved and actually moved from a not guilty or from a guilty to a not guilty position. So if you ask me, do I think whether he was successful on that stand? If people in my audience changed position because of him going on the stand, it's possible that somebody on that jury did as well. So yeah, I would think that him going on the stand was a success. And did I believe him? Me personally, I didn't. But obviously the people that moved their position from guilty to not guilty, they did. So was it him going on the stand the right thing to do? Yeah, it sounds like it was. It sounds like that was great trial strategy. He was sinking his boat, and I think he wasn't going to go down without a fight. Now, did it move? Was it enough to move the jury? We'll find out. We're going to find out very, very soon. But anyways, guys, thank you for taking your time to spend with me today. I appreciate it. God bless each and every one of you. Don't forget to be fearless. It's a tough job, but we need all the vocal people out there as possible. Bab wants to call in. Can somebody drop him the link? He doesn't mind coming up on panel. Can somebody drop him the link and I'll pull him up? Give me just a second. Oh. If somebody will drop the link, I'll bring Mab up. Sorry guys for blowing my nose in the screen, but I can't help it. I gotta breathe. Here, Mab, hold on. I don't see the link coming up here. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link for you, and you can come on up. We don't really have anything going on. I was just gonna go out and sightsee, but I don't need to. It's not the first time I've been here. I just stayed for a while. That link is for, well, if other people, I'm going to talk to Mab first, but if anybody else has anything to say and would like to come up on panel, please do. There he is.
Hey, Betty.
Friend.
How you doing, girl?
Good. What's shaking, bacon?
Well, I gotta love Mama Bullhorn.
I know, she's sweet.
Grandma Bullhorn. You guys got the same laugh.
I know.
Priceless.
Fruit doesn't fall too far from the tree in our family.
Yeah. What's
So what are you
shaking bacon
thinking?
with you?
Not a whole lot. I'm in DC. I'm glad I made it. I still can't believe I was able to drive here, run a live, and still have time to meet somebody for dinner. I'm pat myself in the back.
I do too.
So what do you think about now you've been kind of watching Alec Murdaugh. We're getting down to crunch time here. I mean, the defense has finally rested. How confident are you with the defense or the state?
Could be a hung jury.
A lot of people, yeah.
But personally, I think he did it.
Yeah. And that's the thing with our audience is that is the sentiments of the majority of the audience is that, 80% believe he's guilty. However, it's a 50-50 split on whether it's going to be a hung jury or not.
Yeah.
So, and we got Ricky Beavers is even, he says he doesn't believe he's guilty. So we got Mike Stevens.
Listening to Ricky Beavers' songs the other night when I was on panel with him and Dolly.
Yeah, maybe we'll have him come up and do a live broadcast maybe next week or something.
I didn't know who he was.
Yeah, he's been doing country songs on. I was fortunate enough to meet him, and he's got this beautiful idea about this child's ranch for children that need a place to stay, and it's in his vision. I'm visualizing it, and I want to get behind it as much as possible and figure out ways to get this done because I hope that we can make something that works well, that can be
horses.
Yeah, but it can go throughout the United States. I just don't want it to be one solid place. I want to franchise that. Once we get a good working model, I'd like to see that branch out.
Dog scratching at the door. He wants in.
Aww. Yeah, there's some people in here that are saying hung jury. They believe it's going to be a hung jury.
Yeah, and Mama Mab needs her coffee.
So what do you think about Bryan Kohberger? We are also we're talking about two cases here because I'm taking the information we learned.
Let the dog in real quick. 1 second.
Okay, sure. So I'll wait for him to get back, but I want to get Mab's opinion on this. And it's, we just watched the Alec Murdaugh. Well, he's coming back in now, so I'll wait until he gets here.
Right.
So, we're kind of bouncing back between the Idaho 4 and Alec Murdaugh. And in following the Alec Murdaugh trial, the one thing that it was able, or at least helped me understand, was like cell phone towers, what information they can pull from a vehicle, all those things. And now that I see what they're able to use in court when it comes to those specific things, it makes me and almost solidifies the charge against Bryan because I can see all what they're able to look at now.
Yeah, they got all kinds of evidence we don't know about.
Yeah. I really truly believe that.
We're going to wait for the trial and see if they re-implement the firing squad. Or is that Florida?
We can have public hangings here. Like that stuff's not even out of our books yet.
Really?
Yeah. I really wish they would go back. If you had to go to the square and watch people get hung for their crimes, I bet you it'd be a really good deterrent for you not to do stuff. And there was back in those days, those barbaric days of our country, there was not a whole lot of this theft and killing one another. That's what happened when they started saying, oh, it's inhumane. You know what I think is inhumane? Somebody breaking into a house and murdering 4 college students with a knife. That's what I think's inhumane.
Albert Fish, the original boogeyman, got the electric chair in New York.
I think it's too nice. I think we're being way too nice to these.
Spending way too damn much money on them. I can tell you that.
Yeah. You know what? The last time I checked, it's 10 cents for a bullet.
Yeah. What do you think about Ron DeSantis stripping Disney of their corporate kingdom?
Well, it's kind of funny because I think this is something that looks good on paper, but is not going to do anything, because they're acting like this. And I actually went to a meeting and spoke to another politician about this very same thing. And he's like, look, what did they get taken away from them? They can't build an airstrip. They can still, it's still their own organization. It's still as if they're still separated from everybody else. They're saying that they have to pay their fair share of taxes. So far, I haven't seen, the legislation for that. They're just
got signed today.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it does, because from what I hear, it's not enough. That's from what I hear.
At least they're going to have to adhere to building codes.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to pay their own taxes. So I think it's a good move by Ron.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely anything to move the needle, because I don't know if you knew this,
they
but
were introducing all that wacko gender crap to the kids.
I was out protesting in front of Disney twice.
Really?
With my bullhorn.
Bullhorn Betty.
Bullhorn Betty.
Go, girl.
Yep. I go wherever there's injustice.
Like JLR.
Yep. He was in a Mickey Mouse costume. I have proof. I have proof.
I'd love to see that.
He was in a Mickey Mouse costume, and one of our friends, George, has a motorcycle. So he took him with the Mickey Mouse costume on the back of the motorcycle. Now that was hilarious. Got Mickey Mouse driving down the road, holding his hat on top of his ears, driving down the road on the back of a motorcycle. It was hilarious.
I would have loved to see that. Did it said JLR investigates on the back or press?
No, but surprisingly it didn't. But I'm pretty sure that the next time it probably will.
How long has JLR been doing this? Not long.
True crime. He's been doing true crime for years. I mean, he
Really?
followed. He was out in front of Casey Anthony's house. Even back then, he was following true crime cases. He just wasn't well known. He kind of went a political route and started doing political, because he was with Your Content, which is an online news outlet. And he was writing articles. He stopped writing too many articles about the true crime and started writing political articles, which is how I met him. And, now he's back into true crime. And in all fairness, he taught me a lot getting out there. He's very good at what he does. There's no doubt. I mean, he knows how to research details well. He knows how to use public record laws. He knows how to, touch base with people. He knows how to keep people conversating. He's for all intents and purposes is a decent guy. He's just weird.
Oh.
But most smart people are.
I like to see that JLR's doing lives now.
Yeah. As long as he's not stepping on Bullhorn Betty's toes, I'll be fine with it. There was a couple times I'm like, hey, Jonathan, like, you realize you're going live during I'm just trying to do some new stuff. That's fine. But from 6:30 to 8:30.
Stay off.
Stay off.
That's Betty's hour.
So, I mean, for the most part, it's just, I think it's like, because he's, we all work together. I mean, the hate channels, if they wanted to go, I really could care less. But when it comes to from our team, somebody that we work so closely with and things like that, it was unintentional, I'm sure. But
like Marissa and Livia.
I'm territorial when it comes to my time, because I worked for a year and a half to have this time slot. Nobody was in this time slot. And I worked my butt off to get here and to make it successful because let's be honest, it's pretty damn early in the morning.
I may start a channel sometime in the next year.
Mm-hmm.
MAV Investigates.
There you go. Yeah. Well, I'll collaborate with you.
Sweet.
I collaborate with people all over this country because, there's things happening all over this country.
Yeah.
And it would be nice to have somebody on the West Coast because that is the one area. It's a pain in the ass to get out there. I can't drive out there. I have to fly out there. Everything is so damn expensive. It kills my budget every time I have to go to that side of the United States.
Yeah. Well, hell, I can go anywhere around here.
Yeah.
I'm retired.
Yeah. And I'd be feeding you what I got. So it'd be good. You should. But
you
just
feed me the cases and I'll go out.
Yeah. So it would be great. It'd be great. Yeah. Whenever you get that up and running, let me know. Let me know how I can help you be successful.
Sounds good, man. Betty.
Oh, trust me. I get it. I'm called bro. What's up, bro? Really?
Yeah, like 3.Dave. 3.Dave. Bro,
Yeah.
bro.
So,
Yeah.
all right, Matt. Well, you have a wonderful day. I'm going to get off here and I don't know what I'm going to do with myself.
I'm going to make Mama Mab. I see the light on. Mama Mab needs coffee.
Yep. Well, when you're done with her, you can send me some because I got cheap Pilot coffee that's a day old.
Yikes.
Yep.
You should go to Starbucks.
I trust me. I think that's going to be one of the first things I do. I got to go get me some coffee. I'm dying here.
We'll get you some coffee, Betty.
All right, Matt. You take care.
All right. See you.
Bye-bye. Always love hearing from the people in this chat. So, guys, and again, you don't always. If you're shy and don't want your face on my screen, I'll just show my face as we talk, and they can just hear your voice. So, but I'd like some more participation. Don't get out of your comfort zone. Live a little, folks. Live a little. We're all about inspiring people to do things that they don't normally do. So I am going to call people out in this chat and have you guys come up tomorrow. Maybe the next day. I don't know what's going to go on tomorrow. I may not go live. I'll get my credentials and find out where I need to be when I need to be there. And then we'll try to plan everything out for the rest of this week on our schedule, because we might be able to keep the coffee club. We might have to do it a little earlier. We might have to do it later. I'm not sure where we're going to go with this week, but I promise you we will get something scheduled, but I just got to know what I'm doing. And right now I'm lost. I'm a lost sheep. Okay. I'm a lost sheep in our flock. But again, we are doing what we can do. We're doing our part. We had a great opportunity, and I'm not letting that great opportunity go to waste. So guys, I love you. God bless each and every one of you. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.